Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today, I'm gonna be giving you part 4 of What If Naruto was the ultimate Saiyan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of what ifs coming your way over in Anime King and Anime King 2. And remember for new, yes, I did have 3 channels. Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. Which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me for new, I'll be replying talking about all of you. So yeah, without further ado, we'll just begin this new episode start, the intro. So the last time we left off, growing up mostly with her brother. Not having him here was a bit hard, but she could not hold him back and she knew that. He was always supportive of anything that she did. So she told him to go ahead and train and get stronger. He would be gone for 6 months. Sasuke and Hinata had been there for her in her lonely times. So Mito waited as she kept on studying and kept on improving and kept on getting better. As for Team Guy, they had gotten the new member on their team. Secretly, the council was trying to outvote Hayashi because his daughter was unfit to become leader of the clan. Both girls were like their mother, and the elder members didn't like that. They needed someone strict, someone that cut all emotions in the face when they were standing at the head of the clan. There was a girl though, Neri. The girl that Naruto had argued with that can't pick up Hinata. She had taken place on Team 9 for the moment, as she was currently the substitute for Naruto. The reason being, she had to become Jonin before they could start anything, given that she was being trained for most of her life under the main branch. Her attitude and everything about her was something that Naruto would really dislike. She was even more reserved than Neji. Neji didn't know much about her, as there wasn't much interaction between them. People had never seen her in the limelight. People said a lot that Neji was a prodigy, but this girl could keep up with him with ease, it seems. After all, she's been stuck at the compound, never been shown before. As for Naruto, as we found him carrying a rather massive tree, as he used the wood to build back the house. Well, it happened when he met Master Roshi, the monk, who was able to harness ki better than anyone else on this planet, as he taught Naruto to tap into the spiritual and the physical side of ki. As Naruto's power had released violently, just like that night when his mother had died, but this time it was worse. As the house was completely obliterated, trees decimated and crushed, earth was rooted up. As Naruto released a primal scream, releasing so much power, Roshi had to knock him out. When Naruto woke up, he apologized for the house. The monk was rather calm as Naruto promised him to rebuild it, and that he did. Over the 6 months, many things happened at Konoha, and with Naruto as he trained. As Roshi taught him how to harness the energy, as Naruto was able to produce ki blasts, a change of their colors depending on the amount of power that he put behind it. As Naruto was able to leap higher than before, his body felt different, completely different, and Roshi could see that the boy was gonna go far. Throughout his 6 months of training, Naruto improved rapidly, as Roshi told him a bit about his life as well. The man was currently in his privilege, where a monk walked the entire world. Some of them spend the rest of their life walking, traveling to new lands, as Roshi was doing what his parents used to do when he was younger before they were killed. But after he became a monk, he swore off all underhanded means. But before Naruto leave, he taught him a technique that would be useful for him We then had a time skip as Naruto was making his way back to Konoha, as he was gonna surprise everyone there. After all, Hiruzen would have sent out a squad for him. But Naruto knew the way back, as he was dressed differently, with the insignia of Roshi as his teacher. As Naruto had started to call the man sensei, the man assured him that they would meet again. As Naruto had gotten a pole from the man, it was a staff, but it was no normal staff. It was able to extend and contract on itself at ridiculous degrees. Not to mention the man had taught Naruto a rather useful technique, which he hadn't tried out yet at his full capability. But Naruto came up on the scene when he saw a man with two blades speaking about funerals to a young girl. She had blonde hair and blue eyes. As Naruto jumped in the way and blocked the attack, seeing that girl was about to die, the man looked at Naruto and spat. He introduced himself as Riga, one of the legendary ex-swordsmen of the mist, as Naruto asked him what his rank was. As Naruto fighting instincts kicked in when the man said that he was at A rank, as Naruto dropped into a stance, ready to see how much he have grown. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place for yourself. So this will be this new episode. We begin this new episode at Konoha, as Mito sat in the chair. Calm down, Hiruzen said as he calmed her down. I will be sending a team tonight, so by tomorrow, you will see your brother once again. Mito was excitedly bouncing up and down in her chair, as she was happy. It's been 6 months since he was gone, as she couldn't wait till he come back, as she wondered how much stronger has he gotten. How strong do you think my brother is now? She said, looking towards Hiruzen. As Hiruzen looked towards the girl, her child curiosity taking over. She was a perfect blend between Minato and Kushina as he looked towards her. Her face, an exact copy of Kushina. Her hair, Kushina. But her eyes was Minato. And her intellect was Minato as well. The blend of Kushina and Minato, when they came towards studying ninjutsu, had blended into her perfectly. In the academy, she was number 1, followed by Sasuke Uchiha. The both of them were good friends. There was a bit of rivalry there. But Hiruzen didn't see any way that Sasuke could beat Mito right now. She knew things that a genin doesn't even know. Well, he allowed her free reign in his library, as long as she promised not to do anything excessive that would get her hurt. As Naruto had made her promise as well, and she would not disobey any of them to make them disappointed in her. The last time she did something rather stupid, she had cried and promised that she would never do it again. Hiruzen knew that she shouldn't be at the academy right now, but he didn't want to rush things. He wanted to make things progress their natural route, as Naruto had agreed with him on that, because Mito had surpassed all the genins that he currently had under his roster when it comes towards ninjutsu, and despite her large chakra reserves, she had a good control over it. Well, she did spend the last 3 years working on chakra control exercises alone, so that was probably the cause of it. As Hiruzen finally collected his thoughts about Naruto, while unable to perform any ninjutsu because he doesn't possess chakra, Hiruzen was sure that when it came to hand-to-hand combat, there wasn't a genin or chunin that could defeat Naruto. It doesn't matter who they were. His strength, speed and reflex put him on a completely other level. Hiruzen might as go as far to say that Naruto could handle a low-level Jonin by himself if he was really pushed to the task. So Hiruzen was just marveling at what Naruto could achieve by actually learning how to control his key inside of his body, which Naruto has proven to be quite destructive. But when he managed to get his grasp on it, Hiruzen really wanted to see how far he has come. Guy would be his tester to see what he has learned over the past 6 months. Guy was excited about it as well, as he will be sending Team Guy to retrieve Naruto. As Hiruzen was a bit worried though, Naruto had shown his dislike for Neji at an early age. He had spoken to the Hyuga members. They wanted to keep Neri on the team, as they wanted her to participate in the upcoming Chunin exams. But Guy was having some problem with his team, well, most of their teamwork, and when Naruto came back, he was afraid that their teamwork would be shot to hell. Neri didn't fit with any other team. Hiruzen had tried it, but things didn't fit up that well. It was just because Naruto was gone that's why she managed to get on a team. and the elders of the Hyugas keep on nagging him over and over again. He would just let her ride out her time, until they became tunings. Then Naruto could participate and take different missions. Well, he didn't know how this was gonna work out. Maybe the girl was different from Neji. Well, regarding Naruto. We'll just have to see, Mito. We'll just have to see, he said. I bet he's gonna come back super strong, Mito said. Meanwhile, out in the far mountain sides, the girl with the blonde hair and blue eyes, her name was Samui. Recent. Graduated genin. As most would think that this was suicide, her facing off against Riga, an errant missing Nin. But that wasn't the case. It was supposed to go like this. They were ambushed. Her and her team was sent to a town to deal with a few bandits. But it turns out that they were misled. It was not bandits. It was a squad of Chunin level ninjas, missing Nins, and the one that was leading them was Riga. He also had 2 B rank level missing Nins under his charge as well. They had went after her sensei, Yujito. Yujito was a two-tailed Jinjulkya of Kumo, a rather powerful fighter, but there was a lot of them. She was swarmed. Things had escalated, and they had separated from each other along with Amoy and Karu. But she ended up picking the wrong way. As she had ran into Riga, she had tried her best, but the man was just beyond her at the moment. She was about to die if she wasn't being saved by this black-haired stranger. His hair was shaped weird, but something was oozing off of him. It wasn't power. Was it confidence, arrogance, or pride? He looked towards Riga like he wasn't a threat despite the man just saying that he was an A-rank criminal. She was close enough to see what was going on, and far enough so she wouldn't get hurt. She winced as she looked towards her side. She had taken a rather nasty hit. It was then that Riga moved. Meanwhile, as Naruto watched the man coming towards them, he remembered facing off against the Crusher brothers when they tried to squeeze him to death. But that was a long time ago, and his key back then was actually harming his body, actually holding him down, as Master Roshi had told him that he was not balanced at all, and with that there was destabilization, and it was holding him back. But now he was balanced. He didn't have perfect key control, but he knew enough to take this guy as Naruto slipped into his stance. Riga came towards him with a crazy look on his face, his long black hair whistling in the wind. He leaped on a tree and blasted towards Naruto, his 2 blades extended out. The man then started to spin. "Now you die," he said, as he whipped through the air. As Naruto leaped out of the way, the man crashed right into the ground, decimating it. Electricity flew everywhere. As Naruto landed on a tree branch, Riga appeared behind him as he brought both of his blades down to cleave Naruto's head off. As Naruto tilted his body just to the side, Riga severed the entire branch that Naruto was standing on. Riga then twists as he swings the sword, as Naruto leaned over, dodging the blade. As Naruto jumped forward, Riga came towards him again, but Naruto's back was turned to him and Naruto dodged every single attack, shocking Riga. It was then that Naruto turned. Riga was at a loss. "What?" as he clenched his fists. "Are you mocking me?" he said, as Naruto opened his eyes. "Not really. I was just testing something. Your killer intent is clear. With it and a few other things, I was able to predict your movements. Putting your life on the line for a test. You really are stupid," said Riga. "Well, it doesn't matter. I will be giving you a proper funeral anyway, and then I'll go after the girl." As Naruto scoffed, "What is your obsession with funerals?" Riga shook his head. "What you don't understand, you will never understand." As the man pointed his blades towards Naruto, 2 balls of lightning appear on the tip and launch right towards Naruto. As the era exploded, Samui was backed against a tree. Damn it, she cursed. That was a direct hit. He was done for. That means Riga was in turn. His sights on her. As Riga smirked. "Hope your body is intact," he said, as he stepped forward. "Well, my speed seemed to be enough. Why don't we test taijutsu now?" said Naruto. "I'd like to see how far I came in the subject." Riga was shocked, as he could not understand. Samui was also frozen as she saw. Whoever this was, his back was touching Riga's back. Well, they were not in the same eye level, but his back was back to back with him. When did he move? She looked toward the spot where he was. There wasn't anything there except for the scarred drone. Riga twists as he brought his blade around as Naruto grabbed his wrist and twisted him with the momentum and threw him back. As Naruto delivered several strikes to his stomach, Riga spat out blood as he was launched. He crashed through several trees. The man howled in pain as he leaned over and puked up blood. Riga looked towards the shaking hand. What the hell? As he didn't understand what's going on. How was this damn kid so strong? He forced himself back to his feet. As he flashed through one-handed seals, his two blades started to feed on his chakra as more electricity started to course on them. Lightning release, he said. Apocalyptic wave. As he slashed both of his blades. A massive, crackling sound could be heard as a spread sheet of lightning shot forward towards Naruto, who ran. Running right towards the attack. The two sheets of lightning was close together, but there was a opening right in the center. At the last moment, Naruto jumped. As Naruto coated his body with his ki, electricity unable to harm him, as he flew right through the center and appeared in front of Riga, who brought his sword down. As Naruto brought out his pole, using his staff as a blade slammed against it. As the ground under Naruto's feet started to crack, Riga was shocked when he felt himself being pushed back as Naruto knocked the man to the side before extending the power pole and slamming it right into his head. Riga crashed down to the ground as he looked up. As Naruto's feet slammed into his face, throwing him back, he crashed down to the ground. Riga spat as he got up once again, as Naruto put away the power pole. Well, my taijutsu is still on point, said Naruto. Now, for a different style of fighting as he shifted into the style that Roshi taught him. By this time, Riga's eyes were murderous as he ran towards Naruto with incredible speed, pushing everything that he had. He started to swing like a madman as Naruto evaded his strikes, before knocking the man right in the center of his wrist, tilting the first blade as Riga twists. As Naruto moved his head, a few strands of his hair was sliced off. Naruto jumped in mid-air and delivered several strikes in the man's stomach. Riga was once again knocked back as Naruto flashed behind him with nothing but speed. A brutal kick to the back, slamming Riga's head into the ground. As Naruto came down, Riga moved as Naruto's feet crushed the ground. Riga jumped back to his feet as he pointed his twin blades towards Naruto. Take this! Lightning release. Dragon rage! As the lightning turned into a dragon, as Naruto held up his hand in ki blast form as he fired it dissipated the entire dragon into nothing but sparks of electricity. Riga was panting by now as he looked towards Naruto with nothing but murder in his eyes. You think you've won, he said, as his hands started to shake. Well, let's see you stand up to this. As he held his hand up into the heavens, the monk had showed him the difference between chakra and ki, as the man was also able to gather chakra as well, and Naruto could sense it and feel it. The amount of chakra that Riga was gathering was a crazy amount, but Naruto's instincts prevent him from moving. He wasn't afraid, he was just enjoying the challenge. He really wanted to see what it would do against him. He was being rather cocky here, but being so much stronger, it gave him this pride that he never knew that he had. As he watches Riga brought both of his hands down, the blades were so imbued with chakra that they started to glow, electricity seeping from them. Now you die, he shouted. I won't even give you a funeral because there will be nothing left of you to put in the ground. Samui's eyes went wide. Move, you idiot, she shouted, blowing her cover. This guy had came to save her and knew he was gonna die because he was just standing there. As Naruto looked towards her, the attack strike. She had to close her eyes as everything went white. The surge of electricity completely evaporated the entire area. Trees were turned into dust. A distance away, as someone moved, The person sliced through the throat of the last enemy that they were facing. As she looked towards her two remaining Jennings, Samui, she thought, as she ran, moving fast. Back to the scene, Riga panted as he felt so exhausted. He had to get out of here. If their Jonin had survived, he would surely be dead. As he was tired, maybe he could pull off another attack, but he was tired, and he didn't want to chance it. Samui drew her blade. This was her chance. She could... Coughing was heard. As she froze, Riga's eyes went wide. I must say, that was quite powerful. But I guess not enough. When the smoke cleared there Naruto was, his body was covered in a strange, white glow that covered him from head to toe. His clothing was barely singed, his two arms were crossed in front of his face. How? That's my strongest attack, said Riga. How did you survive it? As the man dropped his blades, stepping back in fright, he couldn't understand what was going on. As Naruto vanished and appeared in front of him in a second, as Naruto raised his hand, his two fingers landing on Riga's forehead. And just like that, you're dead, he said. But Naruto pulled away his hand from the shaking, cowering Riga. I'm done fighting you, said Naruto. I thought you would be more of a challenge. You depend too much on your blades. It's getting quite boring, said Naruto. Riga was shocked. Was this real? Was he being talked down to? He couldn't understand if this was real or not. Go and train and get stronger. Then come and fight me, said Naruto as he turned his back. Samui stood there. This was real, right? She thought to herself. As Naruto's eyes saw her, she just looked at him dumbly. Before he could utter a word, you dare speak to me like that? A mere brat telling me to go and train. You insolent, stupid, idiotic brat. As Naruto felt the electricity in the air, as he felt his hair standing up, as the entire place started to become saturated with nothing but electricity. This is bad, said Samui, as Riga's eyes snapped towards her. His eyes became vengeful. You should have killed me when you had the chance. I'll make you suffer, he said, thinking that Naruto was friends with Samui. He turned his blade towards her, as the remaining chakra inside of him started to boil, electrify, and shot forward. You fool, said Naruto as he jumped in front of Samui. His eyes locked on Riga, as Naruto had two glowing yellow orbs in both of his hands. As he pointed them forward, you could have lived. The blast shot. Riga's eyes went wide as they tear right through his lightning. He screamed as his entire body was enveloped. Samui watched as a quarter of the forest was reduced to dust. As Naruto stood in front of her, looking towards his hands that were smoking. I guess I overdid a bit, said Naruto. As Naruto turned towards her. Are you okay? He asked. She looked at him dumbly, still couldn't fathom what was exactly going on. And who was this guy? He stepped forward as she stepped back unconsciously, her feet hitting one of the tree barks as she fell. As Naruto looked down towards her, I'm not gonna hurt you. If you hadn't noticed, I just saved your life. As he reached out to give her a hand, but before he could, something was coming towards him so fast. But Naruto picked up the sound as he heard it. Naruto turned and lashed out his hand as he grabbed the wrist. Claws were aimed right towards his throat that would have split them open. Well, if she was strong enough. As Naruto looked up towards the furious, strange colored eyes, one of them was green and one of them was yellow. Get the hell away from my Genin. As Yujito brought up her leg, Naruto raised his hand as he blocked it. She brought down her other arm, but Naruto gripped the wrist that he was holding onto and spin her. As he launched her away, she managed to flip as she landed in a tree branch. Yujito crouched down and she shot forward, but Samui jumped in front of Naruto. Yujito sensei, stop, she said, holding out her hand. Yujito paused an inch away from the girl, her claws extended. She looked towards Samui confused. He's not with them. He just saved my life. As Yujito looked towards the boy, who stood there rather unharmed, He was calm, completely unnerved that she almost ripped his throat open. She thought that he was with the enemy, with him leaning over her like that. You know she's right, said Naruto. I just saved her life and here you were, trying to kill me. As Yujito looked around the area. Where's Riga, she said, ignoring Naruto for the time being. He killed him. She looked towards Naruto. You took down Riga, she said. Yep, said Naruto, looking rather nonchalant about it. Who are you? The name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. As Yujito narrowed her eyes to that name. Namikaze? Well, I have a long trip ahead of me. I'll be off then. Wait, where are you from? Said Samui. If we meet again, I'll tell you, said Naruto. Before any of them could say anything, he jumped off, and he was gone. They heard rustling in the bushes as they turned. Yujito-sensei, is she okay? Said Karu as she arrived. Karu breathed a sigh of relief as Amoy came. He wiped the sweat from his brow. As their sensei was a lot faster than them, they had to give it everything they got to get here. Not to mention they were fighting earlier. The both of them collapsed. They were exhausted. Samui was just looking towards the direction that Naruto had gone. On the other hand, as Yujito walked over, Namikaze, where has she... She froze. Wait, it couldn't be, could it? Samui, I want you to tell me everything about that boy. As Samui just nodded, seeing her sensei really serious. Meanwhile, as Naruto was running on the ground, the trees were whipping past him because he was moving so fast. He was sure that Riga was overestimating himself, because he was definitely not A rank. Perhaps a B or a high C, but not A rank. As Naruto looked towards his hand as he ran. Or maybe he got stronger than he thought. He didn't know. As he continued to run to Konoha, as it wasn't taking him as much time to get back as he took to get here, as everything was a blur. As Naruto decided to kick into overdrive to see how long it would take him, as he stopped for a moment. The ground started to shake around him as he started to bring forth his ki, focusing it all down to his legs. As Naruto slid one leg back, the ground actually tear apart. As Naruto looked down, as he pushed the other leg back and got down, in a running position, before he shooted off. He was moving so fast that an aura, like a spear, appeared in front of him. As it turned into like a drill, as he ran straight through trees, obliterating them. He ran right through a mountainside and did not stop, as he went clean through it, as he was testing how far he has come as he ran, as fast as he could. Time skip. Judging that it took them a week and a few days to get there, well, they weren't going on top speed, but it was still impressive that Naruto arrived to Konoha before the kids could leave the academy. It was goddamn impressive, as there was several envoys patrolling, as these were the units that checked near the wall. It was then that they felt something, as the three of them looked towards their captain. One of them with a cat mask spoke. Sir, what is it? She said. The man focused his eyes. Something's coming, he said, as he hopped up to a tree to get a better view. That is when he saw something was bulldozing right on the path, kicking up a lot of dust coming towards them. As it was moving fast. Get ready, he says. They all jumped down. They pulled their weapons as they didn't know what the hell this was. But before they could do anything, the thing came to a stop. Their clothing was blown back as they had to keep their chakra on the ground to root themselves down. As they were almost blown away by a sudden stop, the force that he was carrying was released upon them. What the hell? The cat mask envoy said as she watched the young boy, spiky black hair. This was Naruto. She has seen him a few times before. The Hokage took him and his sister in. She heard that he had left the village to get some training. This information was not privy to everyone, only a select few. But she was confused that he was coming back on his own. She thought the team would go out there and brought him back, as she heard from the Hokage that he had went out far from the village, up in the mountains near Kumo. As Naruto stopped and looked behind him, looking at the trail that he dug right through. He looked towards his legs. As he looked towards his combat boots that he was wearing, he had to switch his sandals that he had on because they had burned out. After a couple of minutes, lucky enough, Master Roshi gave him some combat boots. As Naruto sat on the ground right in the path and took them off, as he inspected them, Yonvu just watched them. They were perfectly fine, as well as the clothing as Naruto tugged on it. It seems that these were made with some special material that wouldn't damage so easy. Well, considering that they were really heavy, they were like training weights that Guy and Lee were wearing. He had took off those because the clothing was a lot more heavier, and besides the training weights that Guy gave him, they were getting really non-existent to him. It was like they weren't even there, so what was the point of even wearing them? As Naruto placed on back his boot, he looked up towards Anvu. As he raised a curious eyebrow, "Did the old man send you out here to get me?" The wolf mask Anvu was the leader stepped forward. "No. We surmised from the way that you were coming back to the village that it was an attack." "Oh, sorry about that," said Naruto. "I didn't mean to start you guys." "Well, sorry again. I'm off now," he said, as he simply ran past them. "Hey Izumo, Kotetsu." As the two men turned, as Naruto knew them quite well, as him and his team went on a co-op mission with them. "Ah, Naruto," Izumo said. "You're finally back," he said. "You said that you'll be gone for 6 months." "It has been 6 months," said Naruto. "Really? Huh, seems like 6 months was just yesterday." "Well, considering that you've been doing nothing but guarding the gate, seems like time flies past rather quickly." "Hey, we haven't doing nothing but guarding the gate," said Kotetsu. "Then have you gone on any mission?" said Naruto. "Did anything dangerous lately?" "Well, we did went on a escort mission." "Fight anyone good?" said Naruto. "Well," as Kotetsu mumbled something. "What was that?" "It was a couple of bandits, alright," Izumo said for Kotetsu. "You know, if you two just join me and my sensei on our training regime, we can get you two into top shape." Both men shiver at that thought. This boy, as innocent as he might look, he was a monster. As they had saw when he had trained with Guy, and it wasn't anything normal, destroying trees, large boulders, slamming into solid rock walls, and shrugged it off like it was nothing. "Yeah, we're good," Izumo said. "Yeah, we're good," said Kotetsu. "If you insist," said Naruto, as he ran off leaving them. As he looked up towards the sun, as he wondered, he didn't went towards the tower, he quickly made his way towards the academy. When Naruto arrived at the academy, he saw that it wasn't over yet. As his stomach grumbled, he was hungry. He quickly made his way. As he went by the Ichiraka ramen stall, "Hey Ayami," he said, as he entered inside. Ayami blinked. "Naruto?" As she smiled, "You're back," she said, as Naruto smiled back at her. Ayami and her old man was one of his good friends. They were always shocked at the ridiculous amount of ramen that he could eat. As Naruto's stomach grumbled as he looked down, he scratched the back of his head. "I know that sound," she said. "I'll get to work right on some ramen, and you can tell me what you've been up to. Deal?" "Deal," said Naruto, as she went around to the back. Someone else then stepped into the stall. As a person sat down beside Naruto. "Kakashi," said Naruto. "Naruto, long time no see," said Kakashi. "Well, considering that you go out of your way to avoid my guy and his mannerism, and considering that I'm on his team, I would say that," said Naruto. As Kakashi chuckled a bit at that. "Well, I guess you're right," he said. "So you're finally back in the village after your 6 months training trip?" "Yep," said Naruto. As Kakashi looked at the blonde, his physique had definitely increased a lot. As he wondered what he was capable of now. "If you're curious what I can do, you're gonna have to stop by," said Naruto. "After all, I'm sure Guy Sensei is gonna want to test me to see what I'm fully capable of." "Well, that's something I cannot miss," said Kakashi. "I'll be there." "You say that," said Naruto, "and then you'll be 3 hours late. I don't want you to miss it." "Well, given from your previous records with Guy, I doubt the match will be over so quickly." As Naruto's eye twitched. "Are you trying to find an excuse," said Naruto, "to be late?" "Well, unfortunately I don't have one right now, so I guess I'll be on time." As Naruto sighed, he's known Kakashi from he was a small child. He was a student of his father. Kakashi has been there a lot, Mostly just to hang out because the man was rather lazy sometimes. It was when Mito was extremely younger, and she couldn't really talk that properly. As Naruto was going through a lot, his parents had just died, and he still remembered them quite well. Kakashi had been there for him though, and the old man. There was one person who never showed their face though, as Naruto never talked about him, and that was Jiraiya the Sannin. The man never showed himself. Naruto remembers seeing him once when he was 2 years old, and from that he has never seen the man again. Well, he was not really important right now. As Naruto watches his ramen came, his mouth started to water, as Kakashi sat down and watched as Naruto devour over 30 bowls. He wasn't even done yet, but he realized that time was getting late. Finally slowing down, said Kakashi. Well, I'm not really full, said Naruto. What? Kakashi said. Yeah, not really, said Naruto as he looked toward his stomach. But I have to go see Mito. As Ayam stood there. Oh, he's paying for it, said Naruto. Wait, what? Said Kakashi. Thanks again, Kakashi, said Naruto as he made his way off. Wait, what? As Kakashi heard someone clear their throat. As he turned to see Ayam standing there with her ladle. As he chuckled nervously. That damn brat, he thought to himself. As he reached for his wallet. His eyebrow twitching as he did. Time skip. As Mito was excited, she was gonna go home and get some sleep. And perhaps tomorrow when she wake up, she would see her brother. She was currently exiting the academy. Wait, Sasuke and Hinata as they were walking side by side. Some idle chit chat. That was when she saw someone lean up against a wall. And the hair. The hair could not be mistaken for anyone else. She ran, confusing Sasuke and Hinata. As she just ran, she launched herself forward as he reached out and caught her. You're back, she said in joy. As Naruto smiled as he swung around. She didn't care about others or if her classmate was seeing her. She had really missed her big brother. As Naruto was so happy to see her once again. As he twirled her around before throwing her up in the air. But he did a bit stronger than he expected. Sasuke and Hinata's eyes went wide as Mito screamed. Naruto scratched the back of his head as he looked up. Maybe a bit too far, he said. As he reached out his arms, she landed right in his arms. Mito here was all frazzled, as she blinked several times. Don't worry, said Naruto. You're okay, you're okay. Time skip. As Naruto sat in the living room, as it was currently nighttime as Hiruzen sat in the opposite chair, as 2 cups of tea was between them. It was rather ill-advised for you to come here by yourself. You knew I would have sent a team to come and get you. Yeah, but I want to make that surprise, said Naruto. Well, I'm glad that you came back alright. We didn't have much time to talk earlier. Did anything happen on your way back? Hiruzen asked. Well, yeah, actually, said Naruto. I did run into a team from Kumo. What happened? Hiruzen said. Well, there was this girl who was being attacked by this guy. He seemed like he was gonna kill her, so I intervened. And I stopped him, said Naruto. Her sensei thought that I was the enemy and she attacked me. But we were able to sort it out. Oh, well, that's just a good gesture on your part, Naruto. Yeah. But I thought that you would give me a challenge, given that he was boasting about his rank and all. And what rank was he? Asked Hiruzen. He said that he was A rank. His name was... Riga. He was one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of Kirin. Hiruzen blinked. Naruto, are you telling me that you fought Riga? The lightning storm of Kumo, with the Kiba blades? As Naruto nodded. Well, if that is his nickname, then yeah. As Hiruzen looked at Naruto. You're okay, he said. Well, yeah, said Naruto, you wasn't really that strong. This had sent Hiruzen for a loop. Before he left, he was able to defeat 2 big-rank enemies, yes. But the strength level between Riga and the Crusher brothers were different. The man was a 7 ninja swordsman for a reason. Only the elites of elites could enter that group. And Naruto was talking about defeating the man so casually. What happened to him? Well, my technique really didn't leave anything left, said Naruto. My ki is a lot more than a human body can take. As Naruto looked toward his hands. Are you saying that you turned him into dust? Yeah, said Naruto. I gave him a choice though. I told him to leave and train and get stronger, and he can come fight me again. But he still chose to fight, and not to mention attack the defenseless girl. So I protected her, even though he had to die. Naruto did understand a long time ago that people in this world had to die. Some of them would not just give up. They would fight till their last breath. Same for Riga, he knew that he was outmatched, but he still chose to fight. You did something good, Naruto Hiruzen said. You protected that girl. Riga is a wanted enemy that is known for burying people, sometime while they're alive, and saying that he's giving them funerals. Yeah, he was non-stop talking about that. Think he's really crazy, said Naruto. As both Naruto and Hiruzen share a chuckle at that. So, how did the training trip went? As for the next 30 minutes, Naruto explained to Hiruzen all that he did. As Hiruzen looked at the boy with a calculated gaze. Tomorrow, he said, I'm sure that your sister will want to see how strong you'll become. Tomorrow will be no school, so she can attend the match or watch as you face off against your sensei guy. He's been waiting for you to come back, so that you can show him what you've learned. As Naruto smiled at that, I've been itching for a good challenge as well, he said, as he rolled his arm. So, I never asked, but who was the replacement that you placed on the team while I was gone? As Naruto noticed the old man shift slightly. What's wrong, he said. Well, giving her background with what, said Naruto, as he saw the look on Hiruzen's face. No, said Naruto. You didn't even let me finish, Hiruzen said. Don't tell me you put another Hyuga on the team. Because I was not there. Well, they're leaving now anyway, said Naruto, so it's no problem. Neji is already too much of that clan. I can't handle another one. Well, Naruto, you see, the thing is, she will be a teammate of yours from now on. As Naruto's eyes started to twitch. Time skip. Ah, Miere, I see that you're right on time. As youthful as ever, said Lee, as he gave her a big happy smile. Can you calm down with the youthful energy today, she said. I have a migraine, and I can't handle it. She really didn't have anything against him, but he was just too much for her taste. And sometimes he can get really annoying. But she realized by annoying him, that wouldn't work. So the only way to get him to stop was just to tell him to stop. I am very sorry about your headache. I will try not to be as flashy around you today. As he gave her a bow of apology. He was so nice, it was just too much. A few minutes later, Neji arrived, looking rather stuck up as ever. After which we could see Guy, as he was already running towards the training ground, as he sprinted up to Lee. Guy Sensei, said Lee. Ah, Lee, you're looking as youthful as ever. Are you here to watch as I embark with testing the strength that Naruto-kun has gained over the past 6 months? Yes, Guy Sensei, I'm here to see how stronger Naruto-kun has gotten, so that I may push my flames of youth to get even stronger as well. No, that's my Lee, said Guy. Guy Sensei, Lee, Guy Sensei. As Neri turned her head in annoyance as the two men started a hug, Neji simply scoffed as he turned his head away as well. Hey. As Neji turned as she was addressing him, her face was blank. Never mind, she said, as she turned her head away, as Neji was confused for once. But he never pushed it as he simply went quiet. That is when several more people came on the field. Hinata instantly froze as she saw Neri, but the one that made her cower down was Neji. As his calculating cold gaze looked towards her. As Naruto noticed Hinata was getting a bit shy. As Mito was to his right. Naruto turned towards her as he placed a hand on her shoulder. Hinata slowly looked up towards him as he was a bit taller than her. You know, out of all the Hyugas, I like you the most. Hinata's cheeks blushed in embarrassment because of that, as she looked up towards him stuttering. So don't let that jackass over there give you that look and cower you down. He's nothing but a stick in the mud. And if he tries anything, I'll slap some sense into him, said Naruto. As Hinata simply nodded, glad that Neji was looking her way. As Naruto glared back over at him, Neji simply scoffed. As Sasuke felt the ground shaking a bit, as he looked up, what the hell? Lee and Guy came rushing over as they stopped it right in front of them, kicking up a lot of dust. As all of them coughed, Naruto-kun said, Lee, you're finally back after your endeavor of training. I hope it was fruitful. Yes, What Lee said is true. I hope that your flames of youth has blossomed and burned as high as possible. Well, said Naruto, if you want to find out, I guess we're just gonna have to test it. Guy smiled at that. It seems your passion for fighting has not dwindled, but just increased, Guy said, his eyes burning. As Naruto felt his blood pumping, finally, he can test himself with someone like Guy. Hand-to-hand combat, a full-blown brawl. As Hiruzen was calmly trekking behind the group as well. As Guy greeted Hiruzen, and so did Lee. As Naruto turned his gaze, they're multiplying, he said. As Mito looked up, you really don't like them, don't you? As I said, your friend Hinda here is the only one that I can tolerate. As Naruto stepped forward as the group followed behind him. Why do you hate them anyway? Sasuke asks. Naruto turned towards him. Listen to them talk for a few moments and you understand. As Naruto stepped towards the two Hyugas who stood there calmly. As Neri looked him up and down, her gaze looked at him like she was disgusted. Hey, don't look at my brother like that, said Mito. As Neri's eyes swept upon Mito, I didn't believe I was looking at you, or even acknowledging you. Well, it doesn't matter, said Mito. As Neri scoffed, as Neji turned his gaze towards Hinata, trying to cower her down to leave. As Naruto stepped in front of her, as Mito glared at Neji, as Naruto eyed Neri up and down. I remember you, he said. You're the one that was at the school that day. And you're the loud, foul-mouthed brat that I saw as well. Brat? Are you even older than me, Naruto asks. It does not matter when it comes to class. Class? You saying you're better than me because you're like Neji and the rest of the Hyugas. As Naruto laughed. Hinata, said Neri, you need to stop associating yourself with these hooligans. They will just drop your status. It's already bad enough for the clan. As Hinata looked down at that. Do you get pleasure out of humiliating her, said Naruto? Is it some sick, twisted things for you people? You do not understand the Hyugas or our family. I would suggest that you be quiet and stay in your lane. The only reason why you're here is because I went to train and get stronger. If it wasn't for that, you would still be at your house, doing God knows what. So I suggest you be grateful. She scoffed, grateful? To someone like you, as she looked down on him. As Naruto turned towards Sasuke, do you see what I mean? Yeah, I understand fully now, said Sasuke. The Hyugas were even worse than the Uchihas. Yes, the Uchihas were arrogant, but the Hyugas were stuck up. Pricks. He could see why Naruto hated them. As Neri looked towards Sasuke, but she didn't say anything. Why are we here? Just because you've returned. It's not some sort of celebration. Are we going to embark on a mission or what? Said Neji. Oh, it's quite simple, said Naruto. You're here to watch me fight. To see how strong I become. For you to realize that if we were to fight right here and now, I would kick your ass all over the field. Or perhaps you want to get into it. Neji scoffed. Fate would not allow me to lose to someone like you. As Naruto laughed. Well, I guess fate is afraid of me. Because there is no way in hell that you can even lay a finger on me if we decide to fight. And yet you call us arrogant, said Neri. Oh, I'm not arrogant, I'm merely stating what's gonna happen if we were to fight. But not just him, the both of you at once. You really believe that you can take the both of us down? Pathetic, she said. It seems you're more delusional than I thought. Well then, how about when this is over? We have a little go. I will not sully my hands to fight you if I don't have to, she said. You wouldn't be worth my time. Mito here started to rise. As it started to split into 9 different sections. This girl was pissing her off. Look here, you. That's enough, Hiruzen said as he intervened. I believe that is enough talking for today, he said. Why don't we continue with the festivities? Naruto, are you ready, he said. Yeah, said Naruto, as he patted Mito on the head. Don't worry. They can talk as much as they want. That's all they're good for anyway. As Naruto looked away, ignoring them. As Naruto felt something as he turned his head. Looking up in the tree, he saw Kakashi, sitting there, with his book in his hand. As Naruto flashed him a smile, Kakashi simply gave him a nod. He was here to watch. Alright, Guy. I believe you're here to test Naruto to see what he has learned over the past 6 months. As Guy smiled, yes, let us see how bright your flames of youth have gotten. As Naruto was still wearing his wavy clothing. Sensei, this isn't going to be like last time. I suggest you don't hold back that much, or you will get hurt. As Guy chuckled, I like the bravado he said, but let's us see if you can truly push me to that state, said Guy. As Hiruzen stepped away, I leave it to you, Guy. As Guy nodded. The both fighters stood in front of each other. Guy taller than Naruto as he looked down towards him. As Naruto was smiling, so was Guy. Lee was crying over to the side, tears from his eyes. Their youth is so inspiring. As he clenched his fists, I will push my youth to the same level, he said. As Neji simply turned his head. As Mito was smiling as well. I know that you said that your brother is strong, but this guy is supposed to be the best Taijutsu user in the village, and one of the elite Jonins. Are you sure that you can win against him? You just wait and see. I'll show you my brother is incredible. Hinata kept quiet as she watched the fight as well. The ground started to lightly shake, as the two men stand in front of each other. The ground started to break as small pebbles start to fly in the sky, all around them. As a whitish aura started to cover Naruto's body. It seems like your flame of youth is being pushed to the surface. As Guy dropped into his stance. Let us see what you can do, Naruto-kun. As the ground started to tremble even more. As Guy exerted pressure. The two fighters stood in front of each other as Naruto slipped into his stance. The rush of the battle overflowed in his system as a big smile came on his face. Let's, he said. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. And yeah, remember to stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way over and making and then making too. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.